And we should be live. Let me go ahead and check. It says we're live, but are we actually live?
Yep, we are live.
Well, I got an ad playing, and I will take your word for it, and yes, we're live. Awesome. Alright, hello everyone, Ace here. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm joined today with returning guest Nico 40k.
Always a pleasure, especially when we're getting back to the gold mines.
Yep, a pleasure to have you on, and today we are back with some more High Republic adventures of the 2025 annual, which is, I'm pretty sure, going to be the first and last annual comic book for High Republic.
I certainly hope not, after all, if it's anything to go by.
Yeah. So, let me read some of the comments here real quick. Time for some more innocence of youth. Yep. Did you see that tweet the Star Wars Twitter account put out the other day where they interview the makers of the High Republic? I did not, but now I'm curious. Or it says, everyone ready your chainsaws where there's too much bull to cut through. And if this comic is not pure shizzle, then color me surprised. I may even owe it an apology, but we all know that me developing superpowers is more likely.
Yes.
Cavalier says, it just needs one more gay wedding to finish it off. Yep. Or it says, I would sooner jump into the fucking sun. As a side note, this galaxy already has enough gays. Time to bring back electrotherapy.
Do they need one more gay adoption and probably an abortion for good measure?
Stream is about to start. Summoning it, will to live through it. Will to live is nowhere to be seen. And left a note saying you are on your own, bucko. Creek says late. So for some of the people interested, I do build Star Wars vehicles for a rebrickable page. I made this design for an Imperial Heavy APC today. Honestly, pretty proud. Okay, interesting. Rebrickable is for Lego designs, so custom vehicles and the like to use for displays, dioramas, or to play with. Okay. Million times better than this comic, that is. Yeah. Speaking of things that's better for this than this comic, I will do a little bit of shilling of sorts, I guess, if it's alright with you guys. Creek says, low bar, Oros, I put some passion into what I do. Nothing should be compared to the High Republic. Yeah, with, well, a couple of things. Crimes against humanity, mainly. Oros says, I'm pretty sure even the worst plague would feel offended if we were to compare it with this crap. Laugh Cavalier says, if only the Acolyte hadn't been cancelled, the High Republic would have been saved.
Yeah, as if.
Creek says, shield yourselves with the amount of contempt people. Alright, so I was, like I said, going to do a little bit of shilling. So there's a mod series that I'm a fan of that recently got an update, and I will show you a little bit of that. So Forgotten Hope, for those who don't know, it's a mod series that started out life on the old Battlefield 1942 engine, and they made a sequel called Forgotten Hope 2 that's gone into Battlefield 2. So they released an update recently, introducing some new stuff here. We worked stuff here as well. So, and I'm actually looking for so you can play around with stuff like the massive KV2 there, as you can see. But they also have stuff that they're adding in eventually as well. So that, like, apparently they're adding in Norway and Belgium as playable nations in this World War II themed game. So
Nice.
that is pretty neat.
But give us my cousins and say, you got screwed over by the Nazis there.
But they did actually. The real reason I'm bringing this up is because of an expansion for the original game, original mod called Forgotten Hope Secret Weapons, which recently, well, back in May, got the 0.73 update here, which adds in some new anti-tank rifles, some new other stuff as well, which is nice to see. But just yesterday, this got an update from a expansion of its own. So yeah, this is an expansion mod for an expansion mod for a mod called FHSW Europe, which has added in more new stuff, such as again, more new weapons and tanks and whatnot. They even added in this. I guess there's historically a Polish designed SMG that was in fact mass produced by the Polish underground during the war, and they used it during the uprisings in Warsaw. So, which is really interesting. Just the thought of a mass-produced SMG in occupied Poland. But then again, these are the same guys that managed to get a hold of Panther tanks and use them during the uprising, so I shouldn't be that surprised.
No, resourcefulness. Remember that.
But yeah, we've gotten a whole bunch of other new stuff like the Well-Rod pistol, which I guess, for the record, the original Forgotten Hope did actually have the Norwegians as part of their own expansion, but got added into FHSW Europe. So they've added in more stuff with the Norwegians, such as a hunting shotgun for their engineer class, so it's a double barrel shotgun. But hey, that's something that sticks out a little bit compared to what else you have to play with. And it does the job pretty nicely from what I've seen. Some other earlier variants of SMGs, such as I believe the MP24 and the MP20, I forget what the hell it is. But yeah, they've added in a whole bunch of new stuff, and it is nice to see. Krieg says, somewhere out there, a man is captured by a CIA who's having metal needles driven into his ball sack, who's glad the feds don't know that the High Republic... let me read the rest of that comment there, because the ad hid it from me. All right, here we go. Somewhere out there is a man captured by the CIA who is having metal needles driven into his ballsack, who's glad that the feds don't know that the High Republic is. So he's spared from the worst. Speaking of the CIA, that reminds me that the CIA Star Wars site. Or says, this is so much better than the comic. Yep.
Just take him to a black site. We don't need to know what happens. Reads High Republic.
Laughing Cavalier says, Norway did well sinking the Blucher along with old Austro-Hungarian artillery with a bunch of reservists. Yeah, they did do actually pretty well. So it is nice to see them get a couple of maps. So we also got some other stuff here as well that they added in. I know they've also added... See, that's the thing about FHSW and FHSW Europe is that they add in a ton of really obscure stuff too that's just... I would say really cool, because you get secret experimental weapons from basically... You get experimental weapons pretty much from all the factions, including minor factions. So you get... let's see, a good example here would be... you actually get, for example, a specialized tank that the Dutch get, that they used in the Java campaign, I guess, where they are, which has two 37mm cannons just side by side. I guess it's an American-built design, but it was exported to the Dutch, who were the ones that actually used it. So it is nice to see rare stuff like that, as well as there's a Finnish special elite kit that you can pick up in this. That's a combination flamethrower and SMG.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if it works, it works.
And the Finns are actually known for having pretty good SMGs anyways. They had the Suomi design, which was...
They also have really good snipers.
Here it is. So here it is on the screen here. The Suomi M31 and M44 flamethrower just combined into one kit here. Or it says Australia has the weirdest tails, even with fucking ships. Correct. And you do see stuff like the Owens show up in FHSW as well, now that you mention it. But you get some, like I said, some really goofy weapon systems as well. Like the Praying Mantis, which is a... Creek says, see, the Dutch put a bunch of foliage over a warship of theirs because Japanese had taken over the area. They moved at night and stuck close to the islands at dawn. Bob Simple Tank Strong, says Laughing Cavalier. Yeah, they should probably add the Bob Simple Tank. They already added in the Soviet version of it, basically. Which, for those who don't know, there was a Soviet factory, I guess at one point, decided to build their own tank from scratch using tractor parts to try to fight back the Germans. So that made it into it. So yeah. A lot of really neat, weird stuff here and there about that, so... Aura says, how, why, where else, but in Australia would this even be possible? Alright, let's go ahead and continue. Actually get into the comic. So we were on the first 20 pages, so...
Yep.
Let's double check that. Yes, we were. So let's go ahead and get into part 3, or the third short story of this, shall we?
Yep.
Now that we have prepared ourselves enough for the pain that is about to commence. The Adventures of Triro the Hutt, and the Heart of Rodak. All right, I guess I can voice.
Yeah,
this.
you voice him. Yeah.
What voice should I give this character? I think I have an idea of what I want to do, but
Super Comic Guru.
Okay. My name is Triro the Hutt, and I want to save the galaxy. It sounds impossible, I know. There's a lot of nasty stuff out there. Reindeer, Nihil, Nameless. I used to just want to study bugs and plants and avoid my cousin Lorco. And yeah, maybe I'm not a Jedi, or a politician, or even part of the mighty Hutt clan. But I've got to do something. Even if I'm a little scared and running out of time. Being brave is especially hard. Especially when you're alone. I might be a bit jumpy.
Help!
Yeah! Which is why I didn't recognize Jedi Knight Sunath Rune at first.
Feeling dizzy.
Hang on, I've got a med kit.
Later, I got separated from my unit. Thank the Force I found you, and not more than a heel.
They're everywhere.
Not for long. We will free the galaxy from their terror. I can sense your anxiety. What brings you to these highlands?
I'm searching for a way to heal Nalhutta. A legend speaks of a plant with miraculous healing properties that grows here on Irudak. The Quira flower.
I've heard of that, but they are said to have become extinct after Ariodak's centuries of natural disasters.
You're a Jedi. You should know the Force preserves all life. Sometimes you've just gotta look beneath the surface. I feel sorry for this dude. Hey kids, if you dig hard enough into the surface, you'll find dinosaurs that are still totally alive.
And not a septic tank, or even dead bodies. Right you are. What led you to this place?
I referenced many versions of the legend as I could find in Senator Greylock's library. Did you know Quirawa means sun spear in Urdan? But Quira can also mean light, or sometimes prism of light.
Ah, and these are the Quiarva Mountains.
One legend says a priestess preserved an endling at the top of the mountain. Another claims the flowers appear every decade under the waning moons.
I see only grass and rocks.
Look, there.
By the stars, a key.
Now, if I could just reach it. Oh!
The hell's the point in throwing a rock? You have a Jedi with you. Okay. I believe it is the will of the Force that our paths have crossed. Out of everyone on the planet, it is you who helped me while I was injured. I will repay your kindness.
Let's see here. Laughing Cavalier says, running out of time. What, is he dying of diabetes? Greg says, Master Yoda, there's no Bino Weequay standing behind him. Kill. Oh, wait, let me read it properly. Master Yoda, there is an albino Weequay standing behind him. Kill it like the rest.
Actually, sir, I'm from Earth.
Kill it like the rest. Or says, everyone reading this comic is running out of time. Every second spent reading it takes away an hour of life. Krieg says, wait a fucking moment. Kyrians are meant to be pretty new to the wider galaxy around the time of the Phantom Menace. What the hell is he doing here? Good question! Or says, well, he is a hut dreaming of the impossible and using slave labor to get it. It's what they do. Left Cavalier says it's Pride Flag Mountain. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, those sharp teeth from that opening mouth really bring it all together, don't it?
Come on. You bring your children. Don't be shy.
It's completely reversible, guys. Well, if it's completely reversible, then why don't you just wait till they're adults? If it's, completely reversible. But then puberty isn't reversible. Oh, so it's not actually reversible then.
Okay, then. Then the matter seems to be solved then. You're certain we'll find what you seek.
Certain isn't the right word for what I feel. It's more like hope.
You feel hope walking into this thing? Walking into this mountain. Suddenly, I feel hope. I must be a Californian child. Okay. What does your family think of your quest?
My family thinks I'm dead. My sister thought it'd be easier than explaining, well. What the fuck?
What? Huh? What? Okay. Oh, alright. That you helped the Jedi Order? Then why do this?
Everyone I know is doing their part to save the galaxy. The younglings, the Greylarks, you.
He's doing his part, are you?
I thought, I'm just me. What can I do? Then the answer was clear. I must find a way to heal the Ginger's effects on Alhada's land. If this planet is real, then I can make a change for the good. There are...
Oh, that's mine. There are some things that cannot be fixed with miracles. My young hot friend, the odds are infinitesimal.
I know, I'm on a quest. But a Jedi Knight just called me his friend. Have the odds ever stopped you?
Oh, his eyes! It's like, why are you right behind me?
Yeah, it doesn't help that the artwork isn't very good, so, you know.
You know what this reminds me of? That Robot Chicken bit where Luke is hanging off the freaking
I'll tell you
thing.
what. No, I tell you what this reminds me of. You remember the old Hypnotoad memes from way back in the day?
Futurama? Yeah.
No, I don't know that. Let me see. I know that it was in Futurama, yes, but I mean the GIF images from back in the days.
I don't think I've seen those. If it's not.
All right. Since we are getting very much back into the way back in the days of the internet.
Yeah. I say this because I'm looking at this hot kid. He's looking behind him. It's like, yeah, I think I'm about to be mugged.
All right. Well, here's why I would say that this reminds me a lot of Hypnotoad because see if I can just get a good enough. But yeah, this was a popular meme back in the day. It's just. And you'll see exactly why once I get it. Come on, work with me, phone. But yeah, anyways, so as I was saying though, it actually seems to have froze up a little bit. Awesome! Here we go. But yeah, like I said, it was. If you actually looked at an image of Hypnotoad, you'll know exactly what I mean because the eyes just look very similar. Okay, let's get back to this. Are you able to hear me, or? Are you there? Nico, can you hear me? Alright, can you hear me now? We seem to be having some technical issues. Awesome. Well, we will wait for Nico, I guess, a little bit. And while we do, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the image, so at least we have something to look at while we wait. There we go.
Oh, there we go. I don't know what the hell just happened. That was just... that was so weird.
Yeah,
I don't know what... There's something wrong. I think I might need a new microphone soon enough. Because yeah. Not fun, but hey, what can you do? At least I can hear you now. Well, at least you can hear me now.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the rest of chat can as well. That's good. So, what kind of mic do you have, anyways?
I don't know, some kind of GTX thing, GXT. It's been really good, like for years. I just, well, it could be some problem with connection or something. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Maybe I'll just get a new microphone or something. But relatively speaking, the one I have is really good. It's just, yeah, connection. And I'm sure you didn't. Maybe you didn't hear what I said. Well, it was a joke anyway. But basically, the reason I say that about the kid is because him looking behind himself reminds me of that robot chicken joke where he thinks I'm about to be mugged.
Yep. All right. So if you look and you'll see what I was talking about because I uploaded sent a link of the what I was talking about. If you look at his eyes, you see exactly what I'm talking about there, I think.
Yeah, that's Hypnotoad. Yeah, from Futurama.
That is just what pops into my mind when I see the way those eyes look on this guy.
All hail Hypnotoad.
Indeed. Let's read some of the comments too while we're here. Oro says, "My dude, you're a hut. Being considered dead is an improvement. Am I using too much hut hate? Good question. One I can answer. No, not at all. We need more hut hate." Craig says, "Did they say the hut has a sister? Huts are fucking hermaphrodites. I hope the writers know that." Oh, who am I kidding? They never bothered to look it up. Yep. Oro says, "Yes, Craig, and yes, most of us know huts are hermaphrodites and refer to themselves in another language. But the creators of this comic are mentally challenged. I remember in one book, Khan runs into a hut he knows that is in a female state given the situation. I think the writer would make use of that. The hut with gender dysphoria. Yeah, that could actually work, in theory. But the writers don't know that, so they're not even going to bother." Or says to Krieg, "Oh my god, you mean having characters they could use for their bullshit in canon, but not making use of them whatsoever because they are incompetent? Say it ain't so. Research is for the weak, I guess."
Mm-hmm.
Or it says, "Research is for the mentally capable of adding 2 plus 2 and not end with 5. All hail the Hypnotoad." Krieg says, "Just put a pic of that frog and play. It'll be funny as hell." Yeah. Alright, let's continue now.
Yep. Never. That is why I came here on a joint relief mission with the Republic Defense Coalition. We showed the Nihil the galaxy is uniting. Wait, what? I'm sorry. The galaxy is uniting? So, sure, we are stronger when we are together, all in harmony and one thought, but...
Did you hear that? Wait. Don't hurt them. Look. There's another tunnel. Go.
Why? What the hell? Okay. They are definitely protecting something. We will find another way. I sense with all my edgy hood.
Yeah, you didn't sense that hole in the ground, did you?
It's like the one thing that Jedis do. The fuck?
Shadowryuu. This is not going as I planned. But what does?
Dude. Oh god, it's like a Looney... It's like a Looney Tunes bit with a coyote.
I don't know how, but I know Shadowryuu will be alright. This place isn't scary. It's ancient. It's protecting something. Why isn't it trying to get me to leave, too? Sometimes you have to retrace your path to get back in the right direction.
Freaking... Okay, he's in the Zen zone.
Oh, my stars. I wish I could say that I always believed or that I knew that what would be waiting for me here. But the truth is, nothing could have prepared me for how amazing this is. Even the legends left out the swarm of protectors.
The most basic bitch acid trip. Who wrote this particular section, and how high were they when they made it?
I don't know, but you know. Let me read some of the comments here. Dmitrio Petrenko says, "Jesus Christ." Or says, "Wait, this is not an acid trip, this is an acid bath." Greek says, "Koreans are meant to be very tech adverse. It was a pretty big plot point in the comic. Also highly isolationist. In a way, it was that way for generations. But no, let's ignore the important cultural traits." Yes, of course.
Wait a minute. Oh, Koreans. I thought you said Koreans. I was like, wait, what?
Koreans, sorry.
Oh, it's just like, no, that's true. They are tech adverse. Pretty. Nah, I'm joking.
If they were tech adverse, they wouldn't be so good at StarCraft.
Highly isolationist, though. I mean, if it's North Korea.
Correct. I'm pretty sure the North Koreans play StarCraft with real-life dudes, but you're only able to play it if you make general or higher.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of a story. A buddy of mine was playing a game online one day. Apparently, someone from North Korea was able to join somehow. And he was curious, so he asked how things were there. The dude from North Korea said he couldn't complain.
You ever think like North Korea will ever break the dictatorship and ever join society, or do you think it'll just stay the same?
Yeah, it's gotta eventually break down. I mean, it can't last forever, and it obviously, as bad as things are over there, yeah. I have actually had a laugh looking at the North Korean Constitution, having a read through that, and seeing all the human rights that they're guaranteed in the Constitution.
0?
According to the Constitution, they're allowed free speech, the right to assemble, the right to protest.
Yeah, we just never see any of those, do we?
They're also guaranteed the right to vote. Technically, if you want to get really technical, they are required to vote. There's one candidate on the box, and the choice is yes or no, but they are required to vote. Not doing
you could argue. You could argue like, well, which of the Kim family would I rather vote or something? But even then, no.
And by the way, voting no is not advised. It's considered high treason, so you know.
Back to the cams.
Paul Schlock gifted another membership. Thank you very much, Paul Schlock. Once again, I cannot thank you guys enough whenever you do gift memberships and whatnot. Rose says Ace's voice for the Hut, as in no giving a shit in tone while the Hut is delighted, is frankly hilarious because, life of me, I feel just as dead as the Hut inside. Krieg says Koreans are tech adverse by choice. North Koreans are tech adverse by malicious incompetence. Dimitri says, well, thanks for the gift. Paul Schluck says, baby Jabba. Yeah. Love Cavalier says, at least the North Korean Navy is doing well. They managed to turn a new frigate into a submarine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that. Greg is saying, Coral Reef speedrun. Dimitri says, oh my god, this is insane. Yes, it is. Or it says, North Korea sure loves innovation. Oh, yeah, they do, which is why they praise Kim Il-sung for having invented the sandwich.
It's my god.
It's also written in the North Korean Constitution that Kim Il-sung is eternally the president for life and the afterlife of North Korea.
Yeah. One always want.
North Korea quite literally has a god emperor.
Yep. And it's just like, what was it with Kim Jong-il? It was
perfect.
It was a double rainbow. Something about something about there was a perfect weather and everything.
Perfect at golf. Never, every single hit was a hole in one. Was a movie producer, which is how we ended up with North Korean Godzilla, which is an actual thing.
Literally kidnapped a director and his ex-wife, by the way.
Somehow he got Toho to provide the guy that did the Godzilla, wore the Godzilla suit, to wear the North Korean Godzilla suit, which is, at least that's what I've heard, which is fucking wild.
It is fascinating, though, because, like, that is an awful situation for a country to be in. But, man, the antics of these leaders is freaking hilarious.
Let's kidnap this guy's ex-wife. Okay, we kidnapped his ex-wife. She has now somehow managed to convince him to come over. He is now brought over. We kidnapped him too, therefore. Let's get them to remarry, because it's good for North Korean politics or something.
Yep. Oh, dude. You know about you know how Kim Jong Un came into power by assassinating his brother with a airport prank?
Oh, he did he?
No, dude. Okay, so real short. Basically, how the if I remember correctly, the Kim family basically goes like of a hierarchy who impresses Kim Jong Il the most and all that, but whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, um, the brother of Kim Jong Un had apparently been labeled as like a traitor because he went to freaking Disneyland. I'm not kidding, by the way. But not just that, but there were North Korean agents that hired like two women. They hired them to do basic pranks that would seem pretty harmless, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the brother of Kim Jong Un, they the agents gave the women they gave them a cloth written in like a really deadly substance onto it, right? And the whole thing that they were supposed to do is just rub it in his face, for the prank. The funny thing is that the brother of Kim Jong Un, he knew immediately what the hell this was. When the cloth had already been rubbed in his face, that he had indeed been poisoned, and it's just, man, you kill your own brother. Oh, just with a prank. That's gotta be like, it's gotta be a way to go. That has to go in the history books.
Just a prank, bro.
It's just a prank, bro. It only led to someone's death. It's part of the world's biggest dictatorship. Well, I mean, the most classic style of dictatorship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roche sass, why go to Disneyland when I can be the subject of armed robbery back home? It's cheaper. Paul Slog says, and he climbed a mountain while wearing a suit. Laugh says, to be fair, going to Disneyland is a treasonous offense. Dimitri says, which of the Kims said they created basketball? I don't know. Or says the eternal president, which probably will be true because no one will be able to get. Well, the thing is, that's not Kim Jong Un. That's the supposed eternal president. It's Kim Il Sung, his granddaddy, his deceased granddaddy, the person that they call a genius in the Constitution.
Not just that, but I think with every Kim successor, when they, of course, make the statues of them, which one day they're going to have one of Un, I think there's, if I remember correctly, there is a rule that you're not allowed to turn your back to the statue without having bowed to it first, or something like that. Because they all view them as a god, and man...
Right.
I don't envy anyone who lives there.
Okay, I actually have the Constitution of North Korea pulled up on my phone.
All right.
I'm tempted to read this instead of the actual High Republic comic.
We can
we'll turn it into we might just turn the High Republic into a part 3 because we spend more time reading this.
Yeah.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and... Yeah, let's continue this for now. We might... I think we'll at least get through story 3 and maybe 4, but... I know there's 5 stories, so...
Yeah, there's 5 stories. Ouch!
Your...
We are the heart of Eriodak. We know why you have come.
You do. Wait, why wasn't my friend allowed to come with me?
Because you sought us. Many have followed the legends of the flowers, but few may enter the oasis. The galaxy is made up of many stories. What is true is myth to others. Because of your true heart, we welcome you.
You can help me?
Or you seek our help.
What is true to some is myth to others? What the hell is this writing?
What the hell is this bullshit?
They're trying to make themselves sound smart, but no, they're just coming off as incompetent morons.
The only thing you could possibly are connected to the planet. Perhaps this is how they would view it. But then again, then I guess the planet is dumb as shit. Who knows? Okay. We know what you seek, mate. Your home has changed. Your world has changed. You have changed too, mate.
Will your flower help heal Nalhada?
That is not a question, man. The question is, can you pay the cost of your miracle?
Gosh, my sister Dahara transferred me some credits. That is not.
Credits! Do you think they give a shit?
The public credits are no good out here.
Oh yes, just put the credit card here, man. Pay the toll. Oh. No, Chura the Heart. A prince of a different kind. We are the heart of Ariodak. We beat in synchronicity. We are the lifeblood.
I understand now. A world for a world. If I take one of the Quira away from this place, will they all die? Someone must have tried before, right? Dahara wouldn't hesitate. And any other heart would take without regret. But I wanted to be a hut on my own terms. How can I destroy a world full of innocent beings just to heal my own? Nalhada has changed, but it survives. I've changed, and I've survived. I could never hurt anyone, let alone a whole planet. Maybe things would be easier if I were ruthless, stronger.
You are strong. It is why you're able to enter the oasis more. To know, to learn, to witness.
The fact that this random hut is more worthy of entering the oasis than a Jedi Knight is such a damning statement about the Jedi Order in the High Republic era. Because you know for a fact they would have taken all of these dudes and it would have killed the planet and all that. And they would have done it without a moment's thought.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, that is a mega oof. I understand. Are you okay, Jedi-Rune? Are you there?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Lost. I think, isn't your character, are you okay, Jedi?
Yeah. Are you okay, Jedi-Rune?
Yes, Churro. I'm fine. Did you find what you were looking for?
No, yes, no. How can I say I felt when I got to witness a thing few beings have? The heart of a planet. I learned that saving the galaxy is more complicated than I first thought. I won't sacrifice one world for another. You know, by letting Nalhada continue to be a shithole so this place can still live. At least a small, teeny tiny corner of it.
If he was a true heart, he would go kill it like the rest.
Some legends are simply that, I suppose.
I know not what your next quest is, but I might know of someone who can help in your research.
Really?
Have you heard of the biologist named Glenna Kipp?
No, but you can tell me on the way, as my first ever passenger aboard the glowworm. Alright, so not how I imagine my first quest would go, but my mission remains to save the whole galaxy, to make it better, for the first time in a long time. I'm certain I am not doing it alone. Even though this is the High Republic, the supposed golden age of the galaxy, meaning I have failed spectacularly in my quest, and everything went horrifically downhill from here.
A good job. So, that was pretty pointless, actually. Nothing was achieved.
Correct. You know, I'm tempted. Do we do a poll real quick and see?
Sure, why not? I have all the time in the universe.
Here's the poll for you guys. Read the North Korean Constitution instead. Now, we're not necessarily going to read all the North Korean Constitution, but we will read some of it, at the very least, if this poll does go through.
Yep.
So, yeah, there you go. Just yes or no. Yes! Yes!
Yes.
I enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed my factoid ramble ace. All right, let me read that here real quick.
Okay, we got
says, so yeah, weirdly, Koreans are a pretty big thing in Star Wars, and Mundis are also a pretty big character. Weirdly enough, when you have that context, he was the master of Ashahed Het Darth Krayt lore ramble over. Okay. Carson, who played Mundi, wasn't told to read the comics Mundi first appeared in, better understand the character. Interesting, the actor played Newt. Wait, the actor who played Ki-Adi-Mundi also played Newt Gunray? That's interesting.
Think so, yeah.
Yeah. Or it says, by the way, Nico, using that except for these people is offensive. Being able to speak is offensive when used with... Yeah, okay. He says, actual Jedi be like, fuck this, I don't want to talk about the environment. Or it says, also the fact that HUD is basically called churro makes me weep for churros all over the world. May they be eaten before they learn who shares the name.
I just wanted a churro.
So we have 3 yeses and 1 no.
Let's read up. I'm more than happy to go with
We'll
either
read
or.
a little
both.
bit. We'll read a little bit of it. Just to show you the nonsense that's on display, I guess. So let's go ahead and let me share this. This should, so from what I understand, this is the actual North Korean Constitution.
Taking its sweet time to do it.
Well, yeah, it is, because I'm having trouble posting the links still. So, apparently someone bought Nexus mods or something like that.
Oh, yeah. And I imagine someone's going to implement the paid mods.
Okay, there we go. So this should actually be in the link for the chat, the actual dyed-in-the-wool Constitution of North Korea, as revised in 1998. Which, from what I understand, is the right place. Are you ready?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Preamble. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea is a socialist fatherland of the Juche, which embodies the idea and guidance of the great leader, Comrade Kim Il-sung. The great leader, Comrade Kim Il-sung, is the founder of the DPRK and the Socialist Korea. Kim Il-sung founded the immortal Juche idea, organized and guided anti-Japanese revolutionary struggle under its banner, created revolutionary tradition, attained the historical cause of national... So this is the preamble here. So, here's some of the other things here. Comrade Kim Il-sung, while turning the Republic into a mighty fortress for national reunification, indicated fundamental principles and methods for national reunification, developed national reunification method. Oh, here's a good quote here for you. The great leader, Comrade Kim Il-sung, is the son of the nation and the lodestar of the unification of the fatherland.
Oh my god.
And devoted all his work and developers entirely to its realization. Comrade Kim Il-sung was a genius ideological theoretician and genius art leader, an ever-victorious iron-willed brilliant commander, a great revolutionary and politician, and a great human being. Comrade Kim Il-sung's great idea and achievements in leadership are the eternal treasures of the nation and a fundamental guarantee for prosperity and effervescence of the DPRK.
Oh no!
The DPRK and the entire Korean people will uphold the great leader, Kim Il-sung, as the eternal president of the Republic, defend and carry forward his ideas and exploits, and complete the Juche Revolution under the leadership of the Workers' Party of Korea. DPRK is a social constitution, is a Kim Il-sung constitution, which legally embodies Kim Il-sung's Juche state construction ideology and achievements.
So, attempted at a great leap forward. No. I mean, it was a great leap. No one can say it wasn't.
Politics.
Great leap.
It is an independent socialist state representing the interests of all the Korean people. Revolutionary state which has inherited brilliant traditions formed from the glorious revolutionary struggle against the imperialist aggressors in the struggle to achieve the liberation of the homeland and the freedom and well-being of the people. DPRK is guided in its activities by the Juche idea, a world outlook centered on people, a revolutionary idea for achieving independence of the masses of people.
Independent my ass.
The sovereignty of the DPRK resides in the workers, peasants, working intellectuals, and all other working people. The working people exercise power through their representative organs, the Supreme People's Assembly, and local people's assemblies at all levels. All states' organs in the DPRK are formed and function on the principle of democratic centralism.
You fucking kidding me? You lying sack of shit.
The organs of state power at all levels, from the county people's assembly to the SPA, are elected on principle of universal, equal, and direct suffrage by secret ballot.
Oh, crap.
Deputies to the organs of state power at all levels have close ties with their constituents and are accountable to them for their work. The electors may recall deputies they have elected if the latter are not to be trusted. The social system of the DPRK is a people-centered system under which the working people are masters of everything, and everything in society serves the working people. The state shall defend and protect the interests of the workers, peasants, and working intellectuals who have been freed from exploitation and oppression and become masters of the state and society.
Like, shut the fuck up. This... Dude, you may as well just use this wallpaper with all the effect it has.
Aristocratic Cthulhu says, "Are you certain you're looking at the Constitution, North Korea, not the propaganda?" Well, that's the thing. It's one and the same.
Yes.
Oros says, quote, secret ballot, unquote. Oros also says, my god, this constitution was written while on shrooms, acid, and after licking the hypnotoad. The DPRK bases itself on the political and ideological unity of the entire people, based on worker-peasant alliance in which the working class plays a leading role. The state strengthens the ideological revolution and revolutionizes in working class sizes all social members and binds the whole society into a united group linked up with comradeship. The DPRK shall conduct all activities under the leadership of the Workers' Party of Korea. The state shall adhere to class lines, strengthen the dictatorship of the people's democracy, and firmly defend the people's power and socialist system against all subversive acts of hostile elements at home and abroad. And there it is. The state shall implement the mass line and apply the Zhongshanri spirit and Zhongshanri method to all its activities, the spirit and method by which superiors assist their subordinates, mixed with the masses to find solutions to problems and rouse them to conscious enthusiasm, preferentially through political work with people. Propaganda is a good thing, so says the Constitution of the DPRK. The state shall powerfully conduct the three revolutionary Red Flag movement, other mass movements, and accelerate the building of socialism to the maximum. The DPRK shall champion the democratic national rights of Koreans overseas and the rights recognized by international law. The DPRK shall guarantee the legal rights and interests of foreigners in this region.
Yeah, what about the ones? Yeah, sure, whatever, buddy.
Aristocratic Cthulhu says, wait, so Article 10 still puts workers above the peasants, making them the true masters of the state and society, according to this document. Correct. That's because Marxism actively distinguishes between peasantry and the working class, or the proletariat more specifically, and believes that the proletariat is more evolved in the process, basically. So yes, they would absolutely place the proletariat above the peasantry. So, Greek says, still less worthy of being used as toilet paper than the High Republic. Correct. Aristocratic Cthulhu says, wait, so Paul Schluck says, he sounds like the greatest Kim ever. Dimitri says, oh my god, this is getting so delusional and insane for sure. Base North Independence, peace, and solidarity are the basic ideals of the foreign policy and principal external activities of the DPRK. The state shall establish diplomatic as well as political, economic, and cultural relations with all friendly countries on principles of complete equality, independence, mutual respect, non-interference in each other's affair, and mutual benefit. The state shall promote unity with the world public, defending people who oppose all forms of aggression and interference and fight for their country's independence and national and class emancipation. The law of the DPRK reflects the wishes and interests of the working people and is a basic instrument for state administration. Respect for the law and its strict adherence and execution is the duty of all institutions, enterprises, organizations, and citizens. The state shall perfect the system of socialist law and promote socialist law-abiding life.
It's just, I'm sorry, but like, complete equality, you don't have that. Independence, you are literally owned by the freaking state. Mm-hmm. Mutual respect, don't have that. Non-interference, it's just like, are you fucking kidding me? No. This is yeah, that's, I mean, we already knew this, but this is just all performative. It's kind of what makes me just disgusted a little bit. Just, I mean.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. It's disgusting. The fact that this is written in the Constitution and nobody...
Imagine having to go to court and trying to quote the Constitution to them. Oh, you know that ain't gonna go well.
No. No.
Chapter 2, Economy. The DPRK relies on the socialist production relations and the foundations of an independent national economy. In the DPRK, the means of production are owned only by the state and social cooperative organizations. The property of the state belongs to the entire people. There is no limit to the property which the state can own. Only the state possesses all natural resources, railways, airports, transportation, communication organs, and major factories, enterprises, ports, and banks. The state shall guarantee giving priority to the growth of its property, which plays a leading role in the development of the national economy. So screw the working man but because the state needs its money. Greed is written into the Constitution.
We are giving opportunities for everybody except you. Give us the state your money.
The property of social cooperative organizations belongs to the collective property of working people with organizations concerned. Social cooperative organizations can possess such property as land, agricultural machinery, ships, small-sized factories, and enterprises. State shall protect the property of social cooperative organizations.
Oh, true. Oh, ain't it so?
State shall enhance the ideological consciousness and technical and cultural level of the peasants, increase the role of the property of the entire people leading the cooperative property, so as to combine the two forms of property systematically, shall consolidate and develop the socialist cooperative economic system by improving the guidance and management of the cooperative economy and gradually transform the property of the cooperative organizations into the property of the people as a whole based on the voluntary will of all their members. Private property.
Also,
Sorry,
just with Article 24 that you're about to read. Private property is confirmed to property. So it's just like private, like the whole essence of, Marxism, in which the socialist ideal spawned from, is abolition of private property. That's it. So you already fucking failed there.
Yeah.
You've failed in their own socialist ideals. Sure.
Private property is confirmed to property, meaning the simple and individual aims of the citizen. The property consists of social distributions of the result of labor and additional benefits of the state and society. The products of individual sideline activities, including those from kitchen gardens of cooperative farmers and income from other legal economic activities, shall also belong to private property. The state shall protect private property and guarantee its legal inheritance.
See what I mean? It's fucking bullshit.
The DPRK regards steady improvement of the material and cultural standards of the people as supreme principles of its activities. The constantly increasing material wealth of our society and our country, where taxes have been abolished, is used entirely for promoting the well-being of the working people. The state shall provide all working people with every condition for obtaining food, clothing, and housing. The independent national economy of the DPRK is a solid foundation for the people's happy socialist life and for the prosperity of the fatherland.
We're all starving to death. Oh, I'm so happy.
The state, holding fast the line of building an independent national economy, shall accelerate the Juche orientation, modernization, and scientific sophistication of the national economy, develop the national economy into a highly developed Juche-oriented one, strive to build a solid material and technical foundation commensurate with the complete socialist society. For the record, with all the happy socialist life, this was revised in 1998. There was a massive famine going on in North Korea at that time where you had cannibalism and stuff like that, and they're talking about how the DPRK provides for everyone.
Socialism. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, but the sheer fact they revised it like this, when that was what was going on in the country at the time.
Oh.
That'd be like Stalin up there talking about how he provides for the Ukrainians circa 1933. Krieg says, how in the flying fuck did anyone expect the North Korean constitution to make any sort of sense? I didn't. but it is funny to read in a dark way.
Yep.
Article 27. Technical revolution is vital to the development of the socialist economy. The state shall perform all economic activities by giving top priority to solving the problem of technical development. Push vigorously ahead with a mass technical revolution movement by accelerating scientific and technical development and technical innovation of the national economy. Free the working masses from the back-breaking labor and narrow down the differences between physical and mental labor.
My back.
State shall accelerate the technical revolution in rural areas in order to eliminate differences between urban and rural areas and class distinctions between the working class and the peasantry, industrialize and modernize agriculture, strengthen the guidance and assistance to rural areas by enhancing the role of the county. The state shall undertake at its own expense the building of production facilities for the cooperative farms and modern houses in the countryside. Socialism and communism are built by the creative labor of the working masses. In the DPRK, labor is an independent and creative work of the masses who have been freed from exploitation and suppression.
Are you fucking kidding me?
The state renders the labor of our working people who do not worry about unemployment more joyful and worthwhile. So that they willingly work with enthusiasm and creativeness for society, organizations, and for themselves.
Oh.
The daily working hours of the working masses are 8 hours. The state will decide to shorten the daily working hours depending on the hardness and special conditions of labor. The state shall organize labor effectively, strengthen labor rules, and take fully utilize labor's working hours. In the DPRK, the minimum working age is 16 years old. The state shall prohibit child labor under the stipulated age. Yeah, child labor is a big problem in North Korea. Still, you know.
Oh my god. Oh, the culture section. Hang on. This is some juicy stuff here.
I know. I'm getting to it. The state shall firmly adhere to the principle of properly combining political guidance with economic and technological guidance. The unified guidance of the state with the creativity of each unit, monolithic leadership with democracy, political and moral incentives with material incentives, and the guidance and management of the socialist economy. The state shall guide and manage the national economy according to the TewiInaba work system, which is a socialist economic management form whereby the economy is operated managed in a scientific and rational way, depending on the collective power of the producing masses, and according to the agricultural guidance system, whereby agricultural management is conducted by industrial methods. The state shall introduce a cost accounting system in the economic management according to the demand TewiInaba work system, and utilize such economic levers at cost, prices, and profits. The national economy of the DPRK is a planned economy. The state shall balance portion between the accumulation and consumption properly, accelerate the economic construction, continue to raise people's living standards, and formulate and implement national economic development plans in order to strengthen the national defense capability. The state shall formulate unified and detailed plans and guarantee a high production growth and a balanced development of the national economy. Paul Schlock says 8 hours, 16 years old. I feel like you'd starve to death in North Korea if you followed those rules. Correct. You probably would, unless you were Kim Jong-un.
Condition.
Imagine.
Yep.
I mean, everyone talks about being the only fat kid in the class. Imagine being the only fat kid in the country.
Oh, and everyone looks at you. Oh, what a great reader! You are in such perfect shape. Literally, everyone. That's gotta be scary. Like you actively have to be a yes man in front of them. You can't like anything that could harshly affect the rule of, the great leader. Holy hell, I would not want to be that guy. It just like, ugh.
Alright, let's continue the madness. The DPRK shall compile and implement the state budget along with the National Economic Development Plan. The state will intensify campaigns for increased production, expanded the economy, carry out financial regulations strictly, increase the state savings, and expand and develop the socialist property. In the DPRK, the state and the social cooperative organizations shall conduct foreign trade activities. The state shall develop a foreign trade on the principle of complete equality and mutual benefit. The state shall
trade with foreign trade with fucking who? The only one that even remotely comes to mind is Italy for their football team.
They do trade with China and Russia, but
it's just like, yeah, what a great trade with the rest of the world, man.
The state shall encourage institutions, enterprises, or associations of the DPRK to establish and operate equity and contractual joint venture enterprises with corporations or individuals of foreign countries within a special economic zone. The state shall pursue a tariff policy with the aim of protecting the independent national economy. Culture. So I know that culture is going to be one that has some stuff in it.
Oof. Yes.
So yeah, let's get into that. Socialist culture, which is flourishing and developing in the DPRK, contributes to the improvement of the creative ability of the working people and to meet their sound cultural and aesthetic demands. The DPRK shall, by carrying out a thorough cultural revolution, train the working people to be builders of socialism and communism equipped with the profound knowledge of nature and society and a high level of culture and technology, thus making the whole society intellectual. The DPRK shall develop a truly popular revolutionary culture which serves the socialist working people. In building a socialist national culture, the state shall oppose the cultural infiltration of imperialism and Indian tendency to return to the past, protect its national cultural heritage, elements of the past, and develop it in keeping with existing socialist situation.
Holy hell.
The state shall eliminate the way of life inherited from the outmoded society and establish a new socialist way of life in every sphere.
Oh, no!
The state shall put the principles of socialist education into practice and raise the new generation to be steadfast revolutionaries who will fight for society and the people, to be the people of a new communist type who are knowledgeable, morally sound, and physically healthy.
Starving! I am healthy.
There are so many game journalists who probably heard that and moaned with delight.
Just a reminder, people, there are actual morons who are fighting for a system like this.
Yeah, they're going, oh my god, I'm game journalism. The state shall give precedence to public education and training of cadres for the nation and combine general education with technological education and education with productive labor. The state shall develop a universal compulsory 11-year education, which includes a compulsory 1-year preschool education at a high level in accordance with the trend of modern science and technology and practical requirements of the socialist construction. The state shall train competent technicians and experts by enhancing the regular educational systems, as well as different forms of study while working, and by improving the scientific and theoretical levels of technical education and education on social science and basic science. The state shall provide education to all pupils and students free of charge, and grant allowances to students of universities and colleges. The state
actually,
shall...
I was just going to ask a real question, because should we just continue with reading the Constitution, or should we actually get back to reading the comic anytime soon? Because
I think what I'll do is I will go and read through to... I think we'll end at with the end of chapter 5.
Mm-hmm.
If that's all right with you. That should give us enough to work. So where were we the last one?
So we're done with the third story. So we're at brothers and sisters. Okay.
No, not that. I meant the culture thing.
Oh, the culture. Oh, sorry. Free of charge. We're on Article 47, so we're at Article 48.
All right. The state shall strengthen social education and provide the working people with all available conditions for study. The state shall maintain all children of preschool age in creches and kindergartens at state and public expense. The state shall establish judicious and scientific research, introduce advanced science and technology in every possible way, open up new areas of science and technology, and raise the country's science and technology to the world level.
How to starve people in record time. Science.
The state shall draw up proper plan for scientific research work, consolidate creative cooperation between scientists, specialists, and producer masses. The state shall develop a future-oriented and revolutionary literature and art, national, inform, and socialist in content. Oh, no! It actually just says the same thing here twice, so I'm going to skip the second sentence. The state shall encourage creative workers and artists to produce works of high ideological and artistic value, and enlist the working masses widely in literature and artistic activity. The state shall provide sufficient modern cultural facilities to meet the demands of the people who want to continually improve themselves, both mentally and physically, so that the working people may enjoy a socialist cultured aesthetic life to their heart's content. The state shall safeguard our language from all attempts to obliterate it and shall develop it to meet present-day needs. The state literally newspeak in the Constitution. The state shall popularize physical culture and make it in a habit of people's life to make people fully prepared for labor and national defense, and develop physical technique forming to the actual situation of our country and trends in the development of modern physical technique. The state shall consolidate and develop the system of universal free medical service and consolidates the selection doctor system and system of preventative medicine to protect people's lives and improve working people's health. The state shall adopt measures to protect the environment in preference to production, preserve and promote the national environment, and prevent environmental pollution so as to provide people with hygienic environment working conditions.
Come on.
National defense. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea rests on the people's nationwide defense system. The mission of the armed forces of the DPRK is to safeguard the interests of the working people, to defend the socialist system and the gains of revolution from aggression, and to protect the freedom and independence and peace of the country. The state shall implement the line of self-reliant defense, the import of which is to arm the entire people, fortify the country, train the army into a cadre army, and modernize the army on the basis of equipping the army and the people politically and ideologically. The state shall strengthen military and mass discipline in the army and promote the display of the noble traditional trait of unity between officers and men, and unity between the army and the people. Chapter 5, Fundamental Rights and Duties of Citizens.
This is going to be good.
This is the one that really started making me laugh. The terms for becoming a citizen of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea are defined by the law on nationality. A citizen is under protection of the DPRK regardless of the decimile. In the DPRK, the rights and duties of citizens are based on the collectivist principle, one for all and all for one. The state shall effectively guarantee genuine democratic rights and liberties, as well as the material and cultural well-being of its citizens. In the DPRK, the rights and freedoms of citizens shall be amplified with the consolidation and development of the social system.
Oh, so they can leave? Oh!
Citizens enjoy equal rights in all spheres of the state and public activities. All citizens who have reached the age of 17 have the right to elect and to be elected irrespective of sex, race, occupation, length of residence, property status, education, party affiliation, political views, or religion.
Kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Citizens serving in the armed forces also have the right to elect and be elected. A person who has been disenfranchised by a court decision and a person legally certified insane do not have the rights to elect or be elected. There it is! Everyone has rights except for the people that we say don't.
If we classify them as sane, they cannot have those rights. We'll just classify them all as insane.
Citizens are guaranteed freedom of speech, of the press, of assembly, demonstration, and association. The state shall guarantee conditions for the free activity of democratic political parties and social organizations. The citizens have freedom of religious beliefs. This right is guaranteed by approving the construction of religious buildings and the holding of religious ceremonies. No one may use religion as a pretext for drawing in foreign forces or harming the state and social order. There it is. Your religion is valid until we say it isn't. Citizens are entitled to submit complaints and petitions.
Are you kidding me?
Complaints and petitions shall be investigated and dealt with according to the procedure and within the period fixed by law. Yeah, I'm sure they will be dealt with.
Oh, this is grand.
Paul Schluck sent another gift, membership. Thank you very much once again, Paul Schluck.
Very best.
Citizens have the right to work. All able-bodied citizens choose occupations in accordance with their wishes and skills and are provided with stable jobs and working conditions. Citizens work according to their abilities and are paid in accordance with the quantity and quality of their work.
Wait, so they're implementing merit? Oh, really now?
Citizens have the right to relaxation. This right is ensured by the establishment of the working hours, the provision of holidays, paid leave, accommodation at health resorts, and holiday homes at state's expense, and by the growing network of cultural facilities. Citizens are entitled to free medical care, and all persons who are are no longer able to work because of old age, illness, or physical disability, the old and children who have no means of support are all entitled to material assistance. This right is ensured by free medical care, an expanding network of hospitals, sanatoria, and other medical institutions, the state social insurance, and other social security systems. Citizens have the right to education. This right is ensured by an advanced educational system and by the educational measures enacted by the state for the benefit of the people. Citizens are free to engage in scientific, literary, and artistic pursuits. The state shall grant benefits to inventors and innovators. Copyright and patent rights shall be protected by law.
Bullshit, they are.
The citizens shall have freedom to reside in and travel to any place. You have the right to leave. Imagine someone trying to cross the DMZ. He holds up the North Korean Constitution and says, "Look here, Article 75. Citizens have the freedom to reside and travel to any place. I wish to travel to South Korea, as is my right, according to the Constitution."
Bull. Shit.
Revolutionary fighters, the families of revolutionary and patriotic martyrs, the families of soldiers of the People's Army, and disabled enjoy the special protection of the state and society. Another class of people who are better than everyone else, apparently. Women are accorded an equal social status and rights with men. The state shall afford special protection to mothers and children by providing maternity leave, reduced working hours for mothers with many children, a wide network of maternity hospitals, creches, and kindergartens, and other measures. The state shall provide all conditions for women to play a full role in society. Which is interesting because comfort women are still very much a thing in North Korea, believe it or not. Marriages and the family shall be protected by the state. The state pays great attention to consolidating the family, the basic unit of social life. Citizens are guaranteed inviolability of the person and the home and privacy of correspondence. No citizen can be placed under control or be arrested, nor can their home be searched without a legal warrant.
As if anyone respects that as part of the freaking police squad.
Who can sign the warrants? Well, individual officers, of course.
Dude, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if just like in China, they make it illegal to be sad.
The DPRK shall grant the right of asylum to foreign nationals persecuted for struggling for peace or democracy, national independence, and socialism for the freedom of scientific and cultural pursuit. Citizens shall firmly safeguard the political and ideological unity and solidarity of the people. Citizens must value organizations and collectives and must demonstrate the spirit of devoting themselves to the work for the society and the people. Citizens shall strictly observe the laws of the state and the socialist standards of life and defend their honor and dignity as citizens of the DPRK. Work is a noble duty and honor of a citizens. Citizens shall willingly and consciously participate in work and strictly observe labor discipline and the working hours. Citizens shall take good care of state and communal property, combat all forms of misappropriation and waste, and manage the nation's economy diligently as the masters. Property of the state and the social cooperative organization is unvoyable. Citizens shall constantly increase their revolutionary vigilance and devotedly fight for the security of the state. National defense is the supreme duty and honor of citizens. Citizens shall defend the country and serve in the army as required by law. And that is, I think, where we will leave it. We're about halfway through it. And, yeah.
That's, wow. That is the funniest declaration I've ever read in my entire life. It's something special. I feel, dude, this would be the perfect thing to, like, do voices in. Because of just how comically this constitution is not followed in any fucking way.
Yeah, I know.
Man, honestly, I actually feel bad for North Koreans. I hope one day they'll actually get freedom, but
yeah, I do too.
Yeah, doesn't seem to be anytime soon, though.
All right, let's get back to the High Republic. I think we have at least gotten our minds, numbed enough to be able to endure it a little bit further. I'm gonna turn the fan on.
Yeah, we've had a little refreshing course. Now let's get back to the bullshit.
Right, let me turn this down so it's not too loud for everyone. There we go.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's continue. Republic Correctional Facility, brothers and sisters, Coruscant. I can feel them watching me in the next room. I can't say that without getting canceled. You know it and I know it because YouTube will take it the wrong way.
Oh. You all know the jingle.
Sneering. Look at him, they say. Look at Baron Bulan, the monster who wanted to kill everyone. The butcher. They think this place will help me. That I am afraid. That I am alone. They don't understand me. They underestimate my work. They underestimate me.
Crawling in my skin. Sorry.
Yeah. Or it says, oh god, how has this constitution made it so that I am happy to get back to the comic? Creek says, Ace, would you like me to send a quick Star Wars lore tidbit that might be interesting? Sure. Just before, but we were busy with the North Korean non-institution.
Yeah. And go on.
Mike Kasaya says, and they always call Trump unconstitutional. Yeah. Mrs. Obama, get down. Alright. As so many have for so many years.
Is that it? He's in there?
That's it. Baron Boulan's flying charnel house. Look, Curl, are you sure you want me to do this? Now, he'll administer advancement, maybe one thruster short of a hyperdrive, but he's no joke.
I hired you, didn't I?
Yeah, and I'm a bounty hunter, kid. I'm not usually one for rescue missions.
Oh, I know, little girlie, but we need to do this thing. It's the only way.
So we've got Donkey from Shrek here in a suit.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your show up. Get lit. By the way, I am not excited for that new freaking Shrek movie, man.
Hopefully there is no dragons here at all, because otherwise we would be in trouble.
Yeah.
Creek says in Creek Star Wars, the old Marvel Star Wars comic show, The All-Terrain Advanced Raider, it is based on the concept for the TST drivers set next to each other and a single gun. It made a few appearances, though a couple of comics listed as an ATST variant. It gets referenced in the 2014 Imp Commander's Handbook, which is discussing the ATDP, which was a Disney SW invention based on the same concept art, but more interestingly, the handbook is listed as Star Wars Legends. So these two walkers, based on the same art, exist in the same continuity with no clarification on what the relationship. Okay. So what's your favorite of the walkers, anyways, from the Empire?
You might call me basic, but the AT-AT.
Yeah, the AT-AT is pretty good. I mean, the AT-ST is, it's a good scout tank. Then you have the AT-PT, which is, a lot of people, I don't hate the AT-PT. I do not hate the AT-PT. I'm not really sold on its role, because it seems to do the same things the AT-ST does, but just a little faster with a little less armor, which...
Let me see. Yeah, now that I'm looking at its design. Actually, it looks a bit more like it would belong in BattleTech, now that I look at it.
Well, it's way too small for BattleTech. It's basically it is a one-man walker, which it kind of feels like it makes either or of these redundant, you know?
Yeah.
But
No, I'm done.
Yeah. Alright, let's continue. You should stay on the ship. Something isn't right here.
Baron Boulan took my sister. I need to save her.
Thought that was my job. By the dark tide!
What are they?
The Baron's failed experiments. The Nihil, who gave up information about this place, he said Boulan had been trying to create hunters of his own, targeting people who can divert the white current.
You mean those strong in the Force, like my sister? Like you?
It's hard to focus, but she's near.
Arcray?
We need to hurry. I meant that, what I said, kid. Something is very wrong about this station. We may already be too late. Please stop.
Easier it will be if you don't struggle. Rick is right, isn't he, BYRNE? Mercy you will show.
Why are we waiting? She's scared.
Quiet.
What are you doing?
My people can reach into others' minds, create illusions. The Baron has psychic dampeners fitted, but the rodent? If I can see what he fears most...
What is it?
The Baron has a nameless on the station. Of course he does. Have to get out before it finds me, feeds on me. Sorry, girl. I can't do this. I can't save your sister.
You already have.
Carl, what are you doing?
I'm the one who's sorry, bounty hunter. So sorry.
What's happening? Hush now, my child. We are about to begin. Begin? Begin what? What have you done with Curl? Where's his sister?
Contacta Perrin, the Nassar Grilled. An officer he made, a trade we accepted. A sister for a bounty hunter, strong in the force. More suited to the Baron's work.
I've seen the results of the Baron's work. I'm not going to end up like one of those freaks floating in a jar. Oh, you're going to be more than that. So much more. Tell me, what is your name? My name? My name is Hatar. What are you going to do to me? I'm going to welcome you into my family. Sister Hatar, first child of the storm. The force will be free because of you, my child, my daughter. We all shall be free. I can still hear her screams, even now. I hear all their screams. Hatar, Lyko, Sephuris. The Jedi think they have won. But the work is only just beginning. My children are still out there, among the stars, walking the path, ready to strike when the final battle is at hand. Alright. My children, my legacy, my victory. The Force will be free and the Jedi shall die. Afraid and alone. Afraid and alone. So, that was actually not as atrociously written as the other stories.
No, it, relatively, it just went by so quickly.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. This one wasn't as especially atrociously written at all. It was actually... We actually found one that was kind of okay, I guess.
Yeah. I didn't hate it either. It was alright. I didn't even mind the artwork this time, which is refreshing.
Very refreshing with High Republic. Cthulhu says, wait, did the High Republic actually add anthropomorphic horses as a fucking species? Greek says, few appearances through a couple of comics listed as an ATST variant. It gets reference in the... It's on the same concept art. But more interesting... Okay, I already read this. Let me see if there's any more comments or if I just... Alright, let's... Yeah, I did actually... It hid a lot of these comments again. Exactly is. Okay, so Paul says, so why did the Eddie Murphy do the Eddie Murphy voice for him? A fair point. Ogres are like onions, they have layers. I found that pretty neat. As for my favorite Imp Walker, ATMP, because fuck your infantry. ATPT is easier to deploy in smaller numbers. Is also a Clone Wars design, has less firepower than an ATST. Essentially, think a mobile MG nest with a grenade launcher. I find them funny but dumb. Larger numbers, smaller. Yeah, well, that is true. That it is a Clone Wars piece of technology. But then technically, if you want to get into it, the AT-ATs started showing up right at the very end of the Clone Wars as well. I don't know about the AT-STs. They might have too. But I know the AT-PTs are, and I know the AT-ATs are. Technically, late Clone War era technology. Or it says, oh, rescue mission. This sounds like it's going to explode in their faces. Premium propane and propane-related accessories. Get it right. Betrayal! Surprised there was only one betrayal here. Probably one would keep everyone. The guy says, Greg says, also, why is this somehow slightly interesting? Because it's a villain story. That's probably part of... And it's not a villain story where they... Well, actually, he did kind of sit on his ass and do nothing, but that's only because it was... He had already won by the time this whole rescue operation even began.
Mm-hmm.
It says, also, it was not the worst story in this whole comic, so okay. He made Gimps to
Yeah.
kill the Jedi, yeah. Left Cavalier says, still better than the North Korean Constitution. What, you don't like your freedom to leave the country at will? As promised by the government?
You're welcome to free, just as long as you survive the icy river and don't get shot by our troopers.
Sullen's wisdom. Okay, this is the final story, and there's only a few pages left, so I think we can get through
Let's
this.
do it. We can power through this.
I have never enjoyed violence. That is not the way of the Jedi, but failing to the people who depend on the Order, that always seemed much worse. My former master Stellan Gios said failure was necessary for learning. He said every setback, no matter how discouraging, revealed a new chance for success. Never quite agreed with him on that philosophy, not for a long time. But now, on the eve of the most important battle the Jedi has ever fought in recent history, his words called to me, providing me reassurance as only he could.
Padawan, don't tell me you're nervous.
No, I'm just worried. The pilgrimage is very important to the Fantidians. What if something goes wrong?
That's why we're here. We'll keep them safe and help them get to the blue water, because helping is what Jedi do. If you're always worried about the future and its possibilities, you go to find it difficult to act when the time comes. You will be forever second-guessing yourself. So why don't we just try to enjoy the trip, and if there's trouble, we'll worry about it then, okay?
Okay. That was the thing about Master Stellan. Even when striding into the unknown, he was always confident, mostly because it was the only way he knew how to be.
I always forget how hot it is on the pilgrimage.
How far is it to Blue Water?
Not too far, but it is very dangerous, especially for the Fantinians, who do not believe in fighting. There are lots of carnivorous beasts out of this way who cross the border and...
They're not bringing their best.
As I was saying, they're bringing the scorpions. Oh, God. Couldn't resist.
Master Stellan, there are so many of them. We really should have built that wall.
They're called Phage. Courage, Padawan. Remember your training. They may have drugs inside. Do your best and remember to breathe. Ha! Not today.
I didn't share Stellan's faith in me, but he was right. I had my training, and more importantly, I had the Force. And that could be enough. Rah! Oof!
No, apparently not.
But it was not enough, and I failed.
At least things can get worse, but it did get worse.
I wondered what I could have done differently, how I could have won against the Phage.
Maybe, I don't know, dodge?
Why didn't you dodge? But the reality is I was never going to win against the beast. I wasn't ready.
Vernestra, protect the Fentinidines.
As I watched Stellan handle the rest of the creatures, I felt a keen sense of failure. How could I ever be as good a Jedi as Stellan? Crawling in my skin.
These borders won't kneel. It's too good.
Don't worry, I'll protect you. Maybe I would never be as good as a Jedi Master Stellan, but that didn't mean I would stop trying. Because I could learn from my mistakes, Vroom.
Excellent job, Padawan.
But I only got one.
The one closest to the Fountaines. The one that matters the most. That's me, by the way. The first time my master brought me on the pilgrimage, I couldn't stop a single fetch, and I got stung.
Really?
Yeah. It's not always about success. Sometimes it is about accepting your failures and learning from them, Biden. Now let's get you checked out before we keep going.
Imagine if High Republic writers actually accepted their failures and learned from their mistakes.
Dude, they would...
They would be learning a hell of a lot.
Dude, they would be writing emotional stories, man. There it is.
Oh, it's beautiful. Let me read this here. So, Cavalry says, wait, Vernestra, isn't this the bold green one later featured in the hit series The Acolyte? Oh my god. Oh no.
Oh wow. Herman.
Can't believe you remember the name, yeah. Maybe.
Why would you remember that? Oh.
Aristocratic Cthulhu says, wait, aren't Jedi supposed to be able to sense danger to a certain degree? How did they get caught off guard during a pilgrimage they clearly already performed multiple times? Know how to be careful on? Good question. We'll never get the answer, but good question.
Mm-hmm.
Or it says Nico is having far too much fun with this. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Can't believe you're
As I should.
She fails, then becomes bold. What a story. Thing goes back to the Acolyte. Why? Cavalier says, I have trauma. We all do after reading 45 pages of this almost.
Dude, with all the years that you've written the High Republic, I wouldn't be surprised if you do have trauma.
No one expects you not to feel the things you feel, Zine. It was the will of the Force that the Jedi Master was left behind enemy lines.
The innocence of youth.
They're telling us to abandon the searching through the wreckage of Starlight Beacon. But what if there are people there? And there was. This isn't...
Man.
Hacking people up just isn't you, Skier. You know, the character that's been hacking people up the entire way through.
The I do. The wedding. Oh.
For life and wife.
Oh. No.
Galactic Bake Off Spectacular.
What was even the point?
Buckets of blood has arrived on the scene. Alright. Now that we've gotten that out of our system, let's finish this off.
Yeah. We're almost done.
Are we going to swim as well?
No, this part isn't for us. This is how the Fenedines embrace their end. They escort their elders to the blue waters so they can rejoin the Force. Things like this are why we are Jedi. Why we as Jedi exist. And why we wait, hold on.
They're making them walk out there to drown them. Holy shit! And this is something they're just allowing? What?
Dude, this... You know what this reminds me of? It's the Futurama episode where they go to Zoidberg's home planet and everyone's fighting over a wife and all it results to is everyone dies on the beach. This is what's happening.
Okay.
All that effort.
You remember the, do you remember a movie from the 90s called North, which is one of the worst comedies that was ever made?
No.
So, that movie, so the plot of it is this kid basically divorces from his parents, which is to say he emancipates himself and has to find new parents. So he goes across all over the world trying to find new parents. And everywhere he goes is a massive stereotype. He goes to Texas, it's nothing but having massive plates of food and working on a ranch. He goes to China, he's treated like he is an emperor. And has people bowing to him at the Forbidden Fortress. But the spicy one is he goes to Alaska with the Eskimos. And then they show an old thing where apparently the Eskimos, during times of extreme famine, as in extreme famine when they had absolutely nothing else they could do, were known to send people out on ice to die. They would chip away little bits of ice, and then they would let these people die off. Usually the elderly. And it was still a horrific thing anyways. But they were showing it as in they were still doing it in the modern times, like they would just sit the guy onto a recliner with a TV in front of him and send him on his way. With a little next ticker right next to it.
No way.
That's what this is reminding me of.
What the fuck?
Except that was at least meant to be a joke. This is being completely serious. Paul Schlock says this comic is pro-Canadian healthcare. Funny that we're mentioning... Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's in the same region, at least.
Or it says this story took a turn to the grim stupid. Yeah. Paul says, I went to see the Jedi defend space Aztecs. Or it says self-deletion is great medication. Ask your Canadian doctor if seppuku is right for you.
Oh my god. Okay. Alright. Let's continue.
Yokai says Canadians doing healthcare since the Eskimo times. Yeah. Maybe that's going to be the next cost-cutting measure for the Canadians.
Okay.
This maid system is too expensive. We need to find ways to make it cheaper. Bring out the ice cubes! Make them walk on them into the,
Oh, fucking hell. Do the more inclusive option off the rooftop. Oh, okay.
Implying that Canadians have enough skyscrapers.
The Jedi are the light in the galaxy. No, we're not. But to become the light, we must work hard and never let our failure define us, so that we can protect what matters.
Like these people being sent to their deaths in this lake to drown horrifically. That's what matters. We have to protect that. It's the Jedi way.
We have to protect Canadian healthcare, just as long as it's not our own citizens.
You know, on the other hand, I am at least noticing that a few of these guys look a little bit like Dev in terms of the physical build.
Yeah. You had a small setback today, and that is okay. What is important is that it all worked out for the best in the end. Fight for the light, Benestra. Even if you fail, the galaxy belongs to all of us. What is this commie horse shit in my comic in Star Wars? It is up to us to make sure that remains true.
Which is why we protect this society, forcefully making their people commit suicide. Or it says, protect what matters, you are allowing people to commit water. No, he's not just allowing it, he is facilitating it. Laugh Cavalier says, it's the Jedi day if we pillow. Or it says, what the fuck is wrong with you? Laugh Cavalier says, no, save me, my son is killing me. See, Vanessa, it's we're all working out in the end. Are they fading into the force, or are their bodies washing up on the shore? We'll find out sooner or later.
We did it, Vanessa. We saved the elders. Oh. Oh.
How many pages are left? Okay.
Just one.
Stella was right. Our mistakes do not define us. It's what we do in the aftermath that counts. The Jedi and the Republic have failed against the Nihil again and again. No more. The Order will be the light in the galaxy that Stellan always thought the Jedi should be, that we were and are, and now we will cast out the darkness of the Nihil. Stellan may not be here to witness our victory, but his wisdom will forever live on in my heart. I will ensure that his sacrifice matters.
Sacrifice to Canadian healthcare.
Did you send him to that lake with everyone else? He didn't look that old.
No. Well, let's be fair. Let's be fair. This is the Jedi, and this woman of color, of alien origins, cannot be lectured by a white man. It's the current day.
Maybe they should have also had all these elders shout the power of many as they were getting slowly drowned to death. It would fit so much well considering what happened to those witches that were shouting the power of many afterwards.
Power of many. Oh. God, I hate that show.
says we will defeat the Nihil through the power of Canadian healthcare. Baron Bulan approves. Laugh Cavalier says it's like The Simpsons when Moe's mentor walks into the lake because he has cancer.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
What can I say? It's a beautiful view, long way down.
Okay.
The power of many Canadians. So yeah, that was the end of this annual comic. My God.
What an experience.
The fact we had to take a break from this by reading the North Korean Constitution so we could then have the Constitution to continue reading this should tell you everything you need to know.
Oh, it was, God, it was not worth it. I mean, there was one story that was alright, but...
There is one story that was alright, and it happened to be the one, amusingly enough, it was right after the Constitution.
And, ironically, about a villain. Which tends to be the case with these
And the
writers.
villain is more likable than the heroes. Because the story right after that... At least Barry Boulon kept his failed experiments alive.
Yeah.
Trust Krieg, it is massive. And LFCover says somewhere in North Korean Constitution. Somehow the North Korean Constitution was less genocidal than the High Republic. Unironically, yes.
Yes. Oh. Oh. What an experience. I don't even know what to say, honestly. I mean, it was an absolute gold mine the last time we went through this.
And so was this too.
It is, absolutely. There are memes for days here. Do you think, dude, do you ever, I severely doubt it, but do you think they're going to get another annual?
No.
And
that's... No, and I don't want to see another annual, please, for the love of God, no!
But think of the content farming.
Or it says, the Korean Constitution proved one thing, there's even lower level than High Republic, welcome to level 0. Yeah, but at least the North Korean Constitution is funny to read, in a messed up, ironic way. It wasn't... I would say this. The North Korean Constitution was not as painful to read because you kind of knew there was going to be nothing but nonsense in it the whole way through.
Yeah.
Admittedly, we only read about half of it, so maybe that should be the next stream. We just read the rest of the North Korean Constitution.
Hey, I'm up for it if you are.
Alright, so yeah, I could probably just do a video So just showing us reading through it and laughing our asses off at that, because I think there is enough there to easily work with.
Dude, you could unironically make a whole video on the Constitution alone. Oh, it would be great.
So let's go ahead. I think we're at a good stopping point here. So, yeah, is there anything else you'd like to
add? This both it and the North Korean Constitution. The best I'll say, it was an experience. The worst I'll say is I never want to have that experience again.
Yeah. So, anyways,
yeah.
Laugh Cavalier says make sure to use lots of North Korean songs. Oh man, you know they would try to copyright claim that shit.
Oh, dude, you know what? I feel like you could use like the opening could be using the Mao Zedong theme song.
Actually, I do have. Now that I think, I have used a North Korean thing before because if I remember correctly, there was a journalist that wrote an article saying elections are bad for democracy. So I then immediately cut to North Korean military parade and actually used some actual North Korean propaganda music in the background for that. So I think that's a good joke. But yeah, is this comic worth reading? No. This was a pain.
Stay away from it.
Yeah. Read something funny. Like the North Korean Constitution.
Read something fun, like Berserk.
Correct.
Alright.
Alright, so Yokai says, when reading a Constitution is more entertaining than a story song. Yeah. Alright, so I think we're good. So we'll go ahead and call it. So, thank you again to Paul Schlock for gifting more memberships. Again, I cannot thank you enough. That really does help the channel whenever you guys do the whole membership things or send me super chats, either or. Thank you once again for that. And I hope to see you guys again soon. But until then, take care. Ace out.